The Ravens Flock presents The Black Files, an uncensored interview and review podcast for all geek fandom.
Welcome everybody, friends and pals, guys and gals, boys and girls around the world. Pop a squat, pop open a cold one with your boys. It's been a long time, but we've never really left. And here we are, stuck indoors in our little quarantine. But you know what? That doesn't matter. Hopefully, we can help you pass the time with this brand new episode of The Black Files.
Quarantines and stay-at-home orders is not going to stop us from doing what we do best.
Welcome everyone to the...
From you from the apocalyptic bunker. It's good to see you. Hope you're not waiting in too many dead bodies.
Yeah, we hope so. Thank you very much for tuning in, folks, to the uncensored interview and review podcast of the Ravens Flock. This is the Black Files. I'm your host, Juan Arauz. Joining us by regular phone call is Angel Mendez.
Hello.
And in our studio headquarters is Jose Casabona.
Juancho, I'm glad that we're here tonight because, dude, we got to talk.
Motherfuckers, I'm breaking the fuck barrier now. I don't give a shit. I'm that pissed off. I'm not going to introduce anyone with what we're doing. At this point, everyone knows what we're about. This is Uncensored Interview and Review Podcast. We have spoilers. We have swearing. We have opinions that'll clash with your worldview. If you don't like it, too fucking bad. There's other shit that you can go watch and listen to. If you do like it, go ahead and keep listening in because we're pissed. I'm fucking pissed off.
Yes, Juan is very mad and he's not going to take it anymore. That being said, it's only fair that I warn you guys. Since I'm basically splitting my attention between making food for the family and doing this, I won't be able to stay too long in particular because I already put the food in the oven. Thankfully, I got some time to kill here. But after about 40 minutes or so, I might have to call out this one a bit earlier than expected. Sorry about that.
That's fine. We're not worried about that, dude.
That's all right.
Well, besides, we will want your opinions, and we know that you're not the most well-versed in this particular topic, but everything, because basically everything you know about the inner workings of professional wrestling, you know it from us. So it's totally okay.
Yeah.
But
you guys have been telling me some shenanigans.
The shenanigans are usually mischievous in a upbeat kind of way. That's sort of what shenanigans can imply. This is some straight-up bullshit, is what it is.
In case no one knows, we're going to be talking about the dark week of World Wrestling Entertainment, which was the week of April 13th through April 17th.
It has been.
Oh yeah.
This shit has been stupid. After WWE's Chairman Vince McMahon has been trying to find different ways to continue producing his programming, despite the fact that we're all under quarantine. The Center for Disease Control has put out a request for everyone to stay at home and self-quarantine in order to keep us from being infected from the coronavirus. Fucking Vince McMahon's basically saying, well, fuck that shit. I gotta make my money. I've got a show to run. The show must go on.
There's a lot of information that we're going to be discussing here on the Black Files while sharing our opinions about it. We're going to timeline all this because this goes all the way back. I think the last time we brought up anything WWE related on the Black Files is when we talked about how the WWE stock plummeted to from $1 billion after Vince fired 2 execs from the corporate circle.
Yeah, and no one really cares about that shit. The only thing that's interesting right now is the fact that basically Vince McMahon is showing his political colors now, and it looks like the investment that he made by maneuvering his wife, Linda McMahon, as a member of the cabinet of our fucking government at the beginning of fucking Donald Trump's term has paid off for him.
So yeah, we live in a world where Vince McMahon has a hand in politics.
Fuck. He's laughing. He laughs at this bullshit.
This is bad and bizarre. We are in bizarro world.
I have to laugh because if I don't laugh, I'm going to start twitching and then someone's going to get hurt.
Okay, we don't want that.
Well, we certainly don't want you to go to jail for that, so.
Please don't.
Jesus Christ. Fucking goddamn piece of shit crap. Think about the bizarre world we live in where our presidency has become so hilariously incompetent. We have a wrestling promoter, a.k.a. CEO, to manage what is left of the shredding economy. A man who is known for wasting his time, effort, talent, and money in idiotic products. And a man who is actively and personally sinking his company into the ground just so he can keep his pockets full. Think about it for a second and wonder if Corona-chan is not in fact an emissary of the gods meant to punish us for our hubris. Because holy shit, man, it's really pretty biblical in here.
The Bible had nothing to do with this shit. I'm pretty sure there was, like, I don't care how many old dudes in the sands of the Middle Eastern beginnings of the civilized world, there wasn't enough peyote or, like, hallucinogenics to have written this shit that we're dealing with. Not to this extent.
Now, timelining, not all the way back to when we last talked about it, but a little more recent here. Like, these are all factors that have led up to this bullshit in the week. All right?
Let's be snippy about it.
I'll try to be snippy, but I don't want to mislead our audience.
Besides, anything that we refer to, folks can look this up, and you can also view this information for yourselves. We'll cliff note it for everyone, and then we'll give our opinions.
Before the Black Week, first of all, let me paint a picture. WWE was recording tapings for their weekly shows every week at the Performance Center in Orlando. Vince McMahon had filed for bankruptcy for his side project, the XFL, which in translation is the Extreme Football League.
Okay, for the record, they never actually called it the Extreme Football League. Angel, do you remember in the year 2001 hearing that Vince McMahon, the man behind the boom of sports entertainment and pro wrestling, started a football league only to lose about $30 million and break partnerships with NBC and to be mocked and ridiculed by the professional sports community as a whole?
I was not, in fact, aware of this. Thank you for bringing that to mind. Looks like even back then, the old adage of don't insult your audience and then expect to get paid for your product rings through even now. I honestly didn't know about this, but then again, had I known, this would have been a lot less surprising to me. Thank you for enlightening me.
Basically, after the copyrights for the XFL started to lapse, someone actually contacted Vince McMahon and said, hey, this intellectual property of XFL looks valuable, even though it sort of tanked and it was a godless disaster when you tried it back in 2001. How about I buy this off from you? And Vince McMahon responds, how about I revive the XFL? And we do it right this time. I'm going to go ahead and sell $300 million of my own company's stocks in order to have capital for this. And I'm going to work on it with sports networks. And I'm going to make sure that it's funded. I'm going to make sure that it's completely separated from my wrestling company. How about I do that instead? What's the worst that could possibly happen?
How long did the season last?
Not even 3 months.
My goodness.
And regrettably, to his credit, he actually took his time in rebuilding it, because that was in 2017 when we first heard that he was going to bring back the XFL, or 2018?
2018, I think.
2018. Mm-hmm. So he only started it this year in January. He actually started doing his new XFL season, and it was actually doing better. After regular football season had ended, he went ahead and started his XFL season. It was actually gaining viewership, and then Corona-chan came and slapped him in the face. Yep. And then when he bent over, she kicked him in the gonads from behind just for good measure.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. He might have actually been able to make it work if it weren't for this shit. So the moment all this stuff went down, his season was canceled. He lost out on millions of dollars, and he went ahead and wound up firing every single employee of the XFL, including the contracted players for each city's league, which included Tampa here. Because anyone who doesn't know, we are based out of Tampa, Florida. We had the Tampa Bay Vipers. That was going to be cool.
That is a cool team name, the Tampa Bay Vipers.
Wow.
However, there's with us, how serendipitous is it that Tampa gets a team called the Vipers, and the XFL winds up once again, just like in 2001, being a snake bitten prospect. Tell me you understand what that term means, Angel. Snake bitten. Snake bit.
Snake. Really? We're going to that point now.
As in, like, it was dead from the beginning. It was dead from the word go.
Yeah.
It was cursed.
Jesus So what? He just rolled up and said, "I got this for you," and then he just threw a corpse in the middle of the street and told us to praise it.
Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty fucking much.
Now, just to give you an idea of the crazy... go on, Angel.
I'm sorry, I'm here. What do you say?
Oh, no, I was going to say, just to give you an idea of how insane Vince McMahon was going with XFL, even before they had to file for bankruptcy. This is way before that. Like, ESPN reported that back in 2018, when he first announced it, that Vince was expecting to spend $500 million for the reboot of the league. And multiple reports say that he was set to lose $375 million figures for the first 3 years of the XFL relaunch.
Meaning...
You're tossing so many zeros at me here, man. This shit boggles the mind. Where does all this money come from?
Okay, basically, here's what he did. He pulled $300 million worth of stock in the WWE, took that money and built the infrastructure and a separate company for his XFL football league. So that way, he could front for the company for 3 years straight. Meaning the TV deals that he struck with all these other television networks, they didn't guarantee him a single fucking penny, because he was under the impression that after the first 2 or 3 seasons of running the XFL, funded totally on his own, and handing it to these TV companies, that it would be such a success that after that deal expires, they would love to go ahead and pay for more seasons. But that's the flawed thinking of, like, why the fuck would we pay for something that you've been handing us for free? Even if it is good for ratings, why would we pay for that? Why should we pay for that? Is it giving us more ratings? We don't know. And now we never will know, because Vince McMahon put the cart ahead of the horse, and he basically gave away the viewership to this company, to this football league, without any thought of, compensation. Like a fucking idiot.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I may not know like the intricacies of how this shit works, but I'm pretty sure if you're handing somebody something for free and then you expect them to pay for it afterwards, they're not going to really pay for it unless they need it. Like, just one example here. Since this whole coronavirus thing went down, as a subsidiary for assisting parents with their children at school, Spectrum, the telecom company, offered parents in Hillsborough County here in Florida 60 days of free internet service, which is excellent. It's what we've been taking advantage of over here on our end. However, after that 60 days, you are expected to pay. Now, with how we operate stuff, this is something that we've been needing for a long time. And if we had no other way of managing on our own, we would not be paying for it afterwards, because you already gave it to us for free for the first 2 months. Why should we pay any more? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the first taste is free is usually the kind of shit you use for drug pushing. You try to shove that there for a permanent service that you're expected to pay for the rest of your life. People will either look for something more convenient or simply treat it as a temporary thing. Just, okay, that was fun. I'm out. Bye.
Especially
so it's basically that, but with $370 million.
Exactly. It's a fucking wreck.
It is a fucking wreck. Now, back on the wrestling...
I am amazed. Yeah. I am amazed and astounded. Keep going. This is amazing.
All right. Back on the WWE subject, like Vince and the rest of the guys, like they've been struggling to try and tiptoe around the restrictions for COVID-19 and try to record every bit of content they can, which included WrestleMania.
Now, we're not going to fault if, like, the idea is, okay, if we cannot have live programs in our usual arenas, then let's go ahead and go to the property that we own, which is our training facility, the Performance Center. Let's just host our stuff live there. Oh, wait, it's not financially feasible for us to have that many people at once, especially now that they're restricting how many people you can have. Okay, let's just do this. Let's just go ahead, take a couple of days in the week, film as much shit as possible within 3 or 4 days' time. And we use that programming that we've just filmed, and we put that out week after week to give our performers, our professional wrestlers, to give our tech crew, to give all those people maybe 2 or 3 weeks away at home so that they can relax. Or we can do what Vince McMahon wanted to do this past week and decide, nope, I changed my mind on the day that we started filming everything. This week, we're going to be live on Monday Night Raw, Wednesday Night NXT, and Friday Night SmackDown. Live every single day.
Because because in the beginning of that week, the Florida governor Ron DeSantis has declared that the WWE is considered an essential business. That's the line.
Essential business.
Okay, you need to pull up the quotes that were brought up by this.
Oh yeah, hang on a minute. Yeah,
Please, I want to know where this is coming from because I got some shit right here for you.
You're gonna love this. This is so stupid.
Yeah, no. I'm pulling up his statement over here. But yeah, they were declared an essential business, and that, of course, means that they can go ahead and broadcast their content on national television. I have an article here from Vox.com. Florida Governor DeSantis declared WWE an essential service. His explanation doesn't make much sense. Now, this is all quotes from the governor, so I'll read it one piece at a time.
As quoted by Governor Ron DeSantis of the state of Florida, God fucking help us all. Go ahead.
I think people have been starved for content. We're watching like reruns from the early 2000s. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Yep. During a news conference on Tuesday, Florida Governor DeSantis was asked to explain a bizarre move, classifying professional wrestling as an essential service, therefore allowing World Wrestling Entertainment to continue to broadcast live shows from a facility near Orlando, the WWE Performance Center, despite the state's stay-at-home order. Its answer didn't inspire much confidence, and let me go ahead and pull it up here. Obviously, WWE, there's no crowd of anything, so it's a very small amount of people, DeSantis said. And let's see. Is there anything else he said here?
He's basically saying that since there's no live audience in attendance, that it's safe. And that because we're all starved for content, quote unquote, that, you know, the WWE is a essential content provider. Excuse the fuck out of me.
Hang on. I found the full statement, finally.
Okay, come on.
All right, I will try.
Oh boy, here we go.
I think people are chomping at the bit. I mean, if you think about it, we've never had a period like this in modern American history where you've had such little new content, particularly in the sporting realm. I mean, people are watching. We're watching like reruns from the early 2000s. Watching Tom Brady do the Super Bowl then, which is neat because he's going to be in Tampa, and I think they have a chance to win a Super Bowl this year. But I think people, to be able to have some light at the end of the tunnel, see that things may get back on a better course. I think, from just a psychological perspective, I think is a good thing.
Where do we fucking begin with this?
It's like, oh man, see, I never thought this would happen, but I'm experiencing a bizarre sense of culture shock. Because to me, this quarantine is basically my everyday life, since I don't really go out that much and usually like to stay home. Seeing all the people who basically hang out, like, consider the outside world their main source of entertainment, lose their shit attempting to justify this is the most hilarious thing in the world.
Oh my god. Now, hang on a minute. Some technical difficulty with my microphone and with my ponytail here. Okay.
Take your time.
Go on, Juan.
Okay, so now, as you could tell from the incredulity of the Vox article, by the way, for the record, Vox isn't really doing all that hot themselves, but you know what? Whatever. That's a totally separate item.
Right.
Obviously, no one's buying into that bullshit explanation that Governor DeSantis gives. However, there is one item that seems to be very, very, very closely related to the Republican governor of Florida suddenly deciding that the WWE is essential work for the country. Joseph,
What would that be?
pull up the donation.
Oh, the donation?
Yeah, go ahead and pull up that information. Tell me you have something on that, Jose. I'm begging you, please.
Okay, did
Are
I
you
send
telling
you
me
any
that
of
a
this?
mysterious
Or...
amount
I
of
don't
money
know.
has
You look it up.
conveniently found its way
Right,
to
give me a
locations
second.
where it normally wouldn't make it?
Hold on. Can you repeat that, Angel?
Are you telling me a suspicious amount of money has been generously donated to our governor's Republic campaign from mysterious sources that may or may not sound like they want to push something for SummerSlam? No.
Actually, no, Angel. Do you know why? Because there's no mystery about it.
Okay, guys, I have the news article according to GiveMeSport.com. Here it is on the headline. Linda McMahon, the wife of Vince McMahon, made a political donation of $20 million same day that WWE was declared an essential business.
See, here's what's up.
Jesus Christ. They're not even trying to hide how fucking corrupt
They're not
this
trying
thing
to
is.
hide. Now, here's what's up, Angel. When Donald Trump became president, I'm sorry, I have to start with that sentence. He appointed Linda McMahon to be the head of the Small Business Administration under his presidency. She had dropped out late last year in 2019. She left that post.
Okay.
She didn't leave because of any sort of ideological protest against how Donald Trump operates. She didn't leave out of any moral conscience in any way. She left to help organize a super PAC, a political action committee that is specifically designed to raise money for the Republican Party, specifically for Donald Trump's re-election campaign that's happening right now. However, these political action committees don't have to just give to one president or to one person. They're free to donate to whomever they wish. In this case, they took $20 million and donated it to the state of Florida's Republican committee. In other words, she basically took money that didn't belong to her, handed it to Governor DeSantis, and we can bet you ass minutes later is when he held that conference when the check cleared.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, just fucking great. We're literally having just. This is the closest thing to fucking public fund embezzlement we're gonna get, and it's just getting tossed all over the goddamn place.
Oh, no. This isn't public funding. This money does not belong to the people. It doesn't belong to the people of Florida. It is not like a public election fund. This is a political action committee. This is a private organization. These are the guys who buy all those advertisements that you see at the with the lettering at the bottom saying like this was funded by a political action committee not affiliated with XYZ person directly. But of course,
it is in fact very much fucking affiliated.
Pretty much. Pretty fucking much.
But wait,
Just
guys,
great.
it gets better.
Oh, there's more.
On the day, on April 15th, on Wednesday, Vince McMahon held a company-wide conference call to all staff members, including performers and whatnot, addressing the current situation with WWE and COVID-19. Basically, saying that there's going to be a large budget. There's going to be a large budget cuts going around. Some of the wrestlers and staff members are either going to be let go or furloughed. And the corporate staff members who are working at their Titan Tower over in Stamford, Connecticut, they're going to be receiving a huge pay cut.
I
on
bet
their salary.
I'm going to give you 3 guesses as to who in that corporate structure in the company is not getting a pay cut. And here's a hint. Your first 2 guesses will be wrong and they won't count. Guess
It
who
wouldn't
ain't...
be the man who is spearheading this entire fucking thing, would it? No.
No, that can't be.
That's
that,
too obvious.
That would be silly.
Impossible.
All right, Joseph, go ahead and pull up the quote, and then I want you to pull up the list.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Give me just a second. I
Oh,
have pulled
this
up
is good shit right here.
This is. Oh, give me a second. I know I sent it to the Juancho. Here we go. Yes, I did. This is the official statement that Vince McMahon has addressed during the call. This is provided by Fightful. They've obtained a transcript of what Vince said during the conference call on Wednesday.
Did you want to read it, or did you want me to?
Do you want to read it?
Yes, please. I'd
You
like
go
to
ahead and read it. All right.
Okay. I'm going to give you guys my best Vince McMahon voice. Not my stupid, caricature of Vince, but I'm going to actually try to imitate his voice. Let's see. Austin, goddammit. Okay, here we go. Thank you all for joining me today. First and foremost, I hope that you and your families are safe. What we're going through today is unprecedented, and there's no doubt these are challenging times for everyone. Given the adverse effects of the coronavirus and the resulting financial recession, WWE, like so many other companies, have to decrease operating expenses. He ended the call by saying, "These are not easy decisions, but reflect the reality of the environment we're working in today. We live in a world of troubled times. I'm confident as a company, and most importantly, confident in you as individual employees, will pull through these tough times and come back to work and make life better than it's ever been. Thank you." He then, with the actual secretaries and everybody working in the office, then proceeds to lay off how many people in total? 40? Is it gone up to now?
Yeah, just about. Give me just a second, because I know I've sent you a lot.
Joseph, you go ahead and read off the names of the fallen.
All right. I'm about to read them off. Give me just a second here. All right. Here we go. You guys ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. First guy to be... All right. First man on the list. His name is Rusev. He is from Bulgaria, a WWE superstar who was prominently pushed during 2015 as his run as United States champion.
We may or may not have shown him to you, Angel. He's the big, like foreign-looking dude. He was waving the Russian and Bulgarian flags. He had a pretty blonde Russian wife named Lana, who over the years has decided to lose her Russian accent because she's really from LA.
His big highlight was when he went into WrestleMania 31 inside a military tank.
Like, he went full-bore Ivan Drago style coming out as United States champion. And,
nice.
Of course, being an evil foreign heel, he was over as people were liking him, being an evil foreign heel. And he wound up with pairing up with another guy named Aiden English and turned himself into a meme. His buddy Aiden English would cheer for him and wish everyone a happy Rusev Day. Because anytime Rusev's around, every day is Rusev Day.
Was that, Angel? You got a game that's coming up for launch? Canceled. Rusev Day.
What's that, Angel?
No.
What was that, Angel? You're spending time with your family? Sorry, that's been canceled again. Happy Rusev Day instead.
But I don't want to not spend time with my family. Oh no, my family's gone.
Sorry, Rusev Day.
Yeah.
Shit.
But you know what? People liked that because he was engaging with the people, and he was engaging with the fans, and we fucking ate it up like Cinnamon Toast Crunch on a chocolate chip cookie. We ate that shit up like crack. Speaking of Aiden English,
oh yeah, Aiden English was also released by
the
WWE.
both of them were fucking released.
Yeah.
So go fucking figure.
Oh boy. All right. So give me just a second here. Another person
just
that's been
names
released
at this point
is former WWE champion and Hall of Famer, Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle.
Angel, you may or may not recognize the name Kurt Angle. In 1996 in Atlanta, Georgia, he won the Olympic gold medals in freestyle Greco-Roman wrestling, and the way that he won, he contorted his opponent, if I'm not mistaken, was from Iran, and he wound up breaking his own neck in the process in order to win. He busted his own neck on purpose just to win.
Have you ever been so badass you're not satisfied with breaking your opponent and decide to also break yourself?
This guy's been a multiple-time world champion. He had recently been brought back to the WWE as a backstage consultant for people, like just helping the guys out with their matches and stuff like that. And they decide to fucking fire him.
Yeah. Another person on the list is Drake Maverick.
Drake Maverick is an English dude who for years had gone by the name Rockstar Spud. He's shorter than K-Storm, just to give you an idea of his height.
Wow.
And okay, like he basically looks like Johnny Storm in the in the comics. Slick back blonde hair, nice little buzz cut. He looked like a rock star. He came to the WWE to operate the cruiserweight division and changed his name to Drake Maverick. That became a meme under the wrestling community because Drake, just changing his name to fucking Drake Maverick was okay, he's too cool for his old name. But the fucking hardest part of it was at the moment he was released, he put a video on Twitter, on his own Twitter handle, and he was fucking devastated because even though this guy's been fired, he's still in some of the pre-taped material that they have for a Cruiserweight Championship tournament. Meaning this fucking guy is still going to be on TV despite the fact that he was laid off last week. And that's fucking hard, man.
Other personnel that's been released, and I'm going to address it as a tag team, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows.
Okay, you know that Bullet Club stuff that I tell you about, Angel, the guys in Japan? These two are part of the original Bullet Club from Japan. They came to the U.S. These are badass dudes. They're big, they're burly, they're bald, they are mean. If you saw that Undertaker match that I sent you, the Boneyard match, they were the two sidekick guys who beat the shit out of the Undertaker. That's them.
Another wrestler, EC3.
Okay. Jose and I were high on EC3.
I was the highest on EC3 because here's the thing: he had previously worked for WWE around 2011 in their developmental territory for NXT and FCW. He didn't get much success then, so he left to other wrestling promotions and he became world champion. He got over with everybody because of his look, his physique, his skills, his personality, his skills on the mic. He was the total package. He came back to the WWE in 2017 in NXT.
And he's basically been collecting checks doing nothing because they won't put him on television. They let his ass go and did nothing with him.
After they called him up on Raw, yes.
Jeez.
It's like they
the
hired...
mechanics of the wrestling organization remind me every day more of a soap opera. Are you sure we're not talking about Lucha Underground here?
Actually, believe it or not, if I understand correctly, the guys running Lucha Underground are actually keeping all their employees, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And
no, we're definitely not talking about Lucha Underground because Lucha Underground's actually doing this shit right.
Other wrestling promotions too, not to put over the indie scene. Other wrestling promotions, New Japan, Shimmer, Ring of Honor. They're not only keeping their performers and staff, but they're also paying for them for the events that have been canceled because hey, you got to pay what you owe.
Wait a second. I know I'm not the smartest man in the room. In fact, seeing as I'm the only man in this room, that makes me the dumbest man in my own room. But if these companies that are most decidedly smaller than WWE can afford to keep their employees paid and compensated, why can't the WWE do the same? I know I'm asking really tough, complicated questions here that challenge the philosophy of what it means to be a man in a leotard, slamming another man onto a sweat-covered mat inflated with your bodily fluids. But I would like an answer from people who know about this more than I do.
Well, there's actually an answer for this. We're going to give it to you in a little bit. We're going to breeze through this list real quick.
I'll breeze through the list here.
And I'll give you the punchline to all this shit. You're going to love it.
Other wrestlers include the tag team of Primo and Epico Colon. We also have a real life couple of Mike and Maria Kanellis, Leo Rush, Kurt Hawkins, Eric Young, Heath Slater, Sarah Logan, senior referee Mike Chioda, who's been with the business for years.
30.
Yes, 30 years. Thank you. A wrestler named Eric Rowan. Let's see here. This is going to hit Juan in the balls. Zack Ryder.
Okay, you know that t-shirt that I wore last night?
Ryder? Really?
Okay, yes, the internet champion, Long Island Iced Z, Zack Ryder. Him and his buddy Kurt Hawkins, they started as a tag team. They started when they teamed up with Edge after Edge, storyline married the widow of Eddie Guerrero, Vicky. They formed a little faction called La Familia. They were running Rough House, and then they decided to separate. Zack Ryder was doing nothing, and he's the one who decided, fuck it, I'm going to just put short videos on YouTube of myself as my character and put myself over with people online because I'm not getting used on TV at all, so fuck it. I'll get myself up somehow. That's shit. In 2011 was what sparked getting the WWE on social media properly because of what he did. He wound up driving that shit, and the way they rewarded him, they first rewarded him by letting him become the United States champion. And then they kicked the shit out of him and buried him for the next 9 years.
And then they gave him the Intercontinental title, which he won at WrestleMania 32.
They literally made him Intercontinental champion. He became he was the number 2 guy in the whole company, and his father actually jumped the rail at the end of the match and jumped in and celebrated with him. They let his dad do that. They took the title from him on the very next night. He lost it.
What?
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly how they treat this guy.
His last WrestleMania moment was when he tag teamed with Kurt Hawkins, and they won the Raw tag titles from the Revival at last year's WrestleMania in their home state of New York.
So as a fellow New Yorker, you can tell that I'm pissed. And the t-shirt that I'm wearing right now that I wore last night is for the tag team of Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. It says, win or lose, never defeated. And I believe that shit because those guys have got the shit kicked out of them for years, just basically buried and destroyed and left to rot in the fucking gutter. But they still hung in there because they felt they were worth it. As a matter of fact, I personally believe Zack Ryder, his real name, by the way, is Matt Cardona. He actually put up, the day that he got fired, he put up a storefront on ProWrestlingTees.com so he could start selling t-shirts of just for himself. I went ahead and bought one because I'm willing to support this motherfucker even after all this shit.
Yep. Another wrestler, No Way Jose, and then two wrestlers from the NXT developmental brand, Alexander Jaksic, who was training in the Performance Center, and female competitor Deonna Purrazzo. So, yeah,
Wow.
and that tops the list. Those are just some of the performers. They also let go of other coaches and other staff members and writers as well.
Yep, including retired wrestler Lance Storm, a former high flyer Billy Kidman, one dude whose name you might not recognize, Shane Helms. He used to be a superhero character called the Hurricane. He wore green and black colors just like Green Lantern because that's his favorite hero. And he ran around pretending to be a fucking superhero, with a cape and everything, dude. Go ahead and look up the Hurricane as a wrestler. You will love his shit because he did not give a shit about how silly his gimmick was. He lived that shit to the bone. It was beautiful, man.
And senior wrestling vet Fit Finley. He was also let go.
Yeah, all these older
we
dudes.
just took all this talent and tossed it away.
All these older dudes were basically working in the back, helping the younger guys in figuring out their matches, organizing stuff, keeping the guys like, hey, you have a problem with this dude? Let's go ahead and settle this shit. We got to be professional. We got shows to run. And they decide to just cut these people off. Just throw them out. There was even this one little silly storyline that was happening with this really big fat dude from a tag team. What's her name? Heavy Machinery?
Heavy Machinery.
And his name is Otis. He looks exactly like a big white dude who's named Otis would look like. And there was this bad storyline happening where he was attracted to this really sexy wrestler named Mandy Rose, and this other dude named Dolph Ziggler. He's a much leaner and sexier looking guy. He's like, haha, you're never gonna get her. She's mine. And at WrestleMania, she slapped the taste out of fucking Dolph Ziggler and went with Otis at the end. It was beautiful. It was a nice little feel good moment. Doesn't that sound like a nice little story, Angel? As stupid as it is. Doesn't that sound like a nice story?
Just like that.
Yeah, guess what?
Let's just take all these very essential, talented people that have kept this shit running in the background for years, and I'm just going to put them in a nice little package and just put that package in a basket, and I'm going to put that basket in the river because I need to get paid. Did I encapsulate his method of thinking correctly?
Pretty much. Basically, the writer, the backstage writer that helped out with the storyline for that little story, she got fired too. She had put up a tweet on it saying yeah, I got kicked out. I know I hadn't been around with the company for more than a few months, but I'm so glad to see that my contribution to this storyline was something that people enjoyed. Thank you all. I'm out. It was fucking ridiculous. And yeah,
just like that.
And yeah, I get it. Something schmaltzy like a storyline like this is a pain, and it doesn't really land with other people. But you know what? If it's meant to be oh, hey, he's a good guy, and the good guy gets the girl in the end, isn't that what you're supposed to have in good storytelling? You know what I mean? He faces adversity. Amazing. He gets like a nice little classic story, right? Isn't that shit nice? No, we can't have nice shit.
No, we can't have nice shit. Now, for the...
No, we can have it as long as the big guys upstairs get paid.
Oh, my God.
And as long as they're willing to break the quarantine laws, and as long as they're breaking all sorts of... okay, hear me out here. How is it going to look like to see a wrestling match with no audience at all? How is that going to look like? Is that going to be seeing a sitcom with the laugh track turned off?
Actually, Angel, that's exactly what the WWE and other major televised promotions have been doing. They've been filming at empty arenas. Now, AEW, has actually had a solution where they have some of the wrestlers who aren't in the match just hang around at ringside and behave a little bit like an audience, which is fine. It's not a good solution, but it's better than having an empty arena.
Yeah.
But apparently having an empty arena is what the WWE has been having for the last month, and they can't stand it anymore.
Now, as far as the people who have been released, mainly the coaches and the writers and the guys working behind the scenes, the staff, the performers have been let go. The staff members have been furloughed, and from what I've read, the furlough lasts until July, but it might be extended depending on the development of the situation.
Basically, being furloughed is basically, okay, you're not fired, we're just not going to pay you, and we're not going to make you come work. You just sit at home. And maybe when we're done, we'll come bring you back in. So the older dudes, the officials, the older wrestlers who were working as staff, those guys might be okay. The wrestlers, the 20-some-odd wrestlers that were kicked out, no, fucking gone. Cut their nuts out from under them.
Especially since some of them recently signed 5-year contracts to the WWE.
What do they care? Nope, contract's on. Bye. Just fucking bye.
Oops, all fired. The fact that somehow they're still trying to run the show, even as they cut off the legs from it, astounds me. It's like, we gotta run this business of bread and circuses so people don't realize that Rome is burning. But also, I don't want to make too many sacrifices. I want all of the power. I don't want none of the responsibility. That's all I'm saying here.
It gets dumber.
Wait, he said, holding a fucking pile of ShamWow. There's more.
Yep. You just quoted 1,000 hours of. You just quoted a bot that watched 1,000 hours of commercials with ShamWow, Angel. I hope you're proud of yourself.
After
boy.
After firing all the performers and all the staff members, WWE has come under fire, especially since they've, at the same time, WWE has also announced that they have about $500 million in cash reserves, which is pretty dick move to announce it right after you let go of your talent.
Jose's quoting this from a Forbes magazine article over here. Go ahead and read it off, Jose.
All right.
Give him a second.
Yep. Wednesday came and went with many WWE superstars given the same reality check that has plagued millions of recently unemployed Americans and hundreds of millions worldwide amid the spread of the novel coronavirus. As of writing, 22 wrestlers, 10 producers, 3 coaches, 2 announcers, a referee, member of the creative team, and 2 on-air talents were publicly released or furloughed. A significant portion of the WWE's mid-card bid adieu with non-wrestling executives set to take a cut in pay. Let's see, scrolling on ahead. A publicly traded company that saw its share price flirt with a historic $100 per share this time last year. WWE stock has since plummeted below $40.
Okay, you have to remember something, Angel. I know that you're not big on like stocks and stuff, but obviously going from this time last year being $100 for each share, going down to $40 now, that's some bullshit.
That is some pretty hilarious bullshit.
Go ahead and
You know what this reminds me of, though?
What's this remind you of?
I apologize if I deviate briefly.
Go
Have
ahead.
you ever heard of Juvenile? Do you know who Juvenile is?
No.
Juvenile is the man who invented the phrase, "Who watches the Watchmen?" His real name was Decimus Julius Juvenalis, a Roman satirist who lived in the 1st and 2nd centuries of AD, and it is said that he's the man who came up with the first instance of hose mad. I'm not kidding.
Yep.
I'm not kidding. He made a satire that was apparently it was so sophisticated, one line in the UK was considered error enough to translate it, and it roughly translates to hose mad. He came up with this beautiful quote, and I think it fits this way too well. He said, "Already long ago, but when our boat was sold to no man, the people have abdicated their duties. For the people who once upon a time handled our military command, high civil offers, and legions, everything now restrains itself and anxiously hopes for only 2 things, bread and circuses." That's what this whole thing has turned into. As they are desperately scrambling to get their money back, these people are obsessed with keeping the entertainment machine going, because as long as they keep your mind away from thinking shit that could cause them problems, they will do whatever the fuck it takes. Even if it means holding the business down in a time when they purposely tell you, don't hold the business down. And as the rich grow more arrogant and the poor grow more desperate, let's see what happens when the ubiquitous television set keeps showing the consumers without money how well the few live. Where do you think the whole eat the rich thing came from?
All right, Angel. I have more information here from this article.
Yeah, but no, I see what you mean, Angel. This is like the worst fucking scenario they could come up with, and Jose was actually gonna top off this part from the article. We're paraphrasing parts from it,
Yeah.
But you're on the right track with all this shit.
WWE's mass layoffs stand in stark juxtaposition to smaller and poorer combat sports promotions that are opting to retain staff and ride this out, something that WWE can afford to do more comfortably than just about anybody. Early in the spread of the coronavirus, WWE's first official statement on the matter reminded investors of its substantial financial resources, both available cash and debt capacity, which currently totals more than $0.5 billion to manage the challengers ahead. In other words, WWE had $5 million,
$500 million,
$500 million in cash on hand, and was fully equipped to easily ride out any potential shutdown of live entertainments.
Basically, they fired all these guys, all these people. They fired every one of these wrestlers. They fired every one of these officials, all these employees. They got rid of them despite the fact that they can literally still afford to keep them all on staff, to keep them all here. So they did. They could. And it gets worse. It gets so much worse.
Yeah.
Basically, what's happening this...
Let's do like the fucking Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Once you get hooked up on the drug collection, your tendency is to push it as far as you can. Let's just go all the way to bad country. Tell me what happens next. I want to see the fucking apocalypse happening before my eyes right now.
Now, something that we haven't touched on, like rewinding for just a little bit. Now,
only a little.
Yeah, one of the reasons that we've already deduced, and it's pretty freaking obvious. I'm pretty sure that Vince tried to push to have the WWE be established as essential business and do live broadcasts because he has to maintain the standards of his contracts with Fox and NBC, the USA Network.
Okay, let me just explain that to you. The reason why if Vince McMahon was so adamant on going live again this past week was because in the contracts that he has with Fox, where Friday Night SmackDown airs, and with NBC Universal that owns the USA Network, where Monday Night Raw and NXT air. They have a contract stipulation that says you can only have up to 3 or 4 pre-taped editions per year. And since the WWE has had to pre-tape stuff in order to keep people safe from coronavirus, Vince McMahon jumped on his shit and said, nope, we got to go back to live now. Otherwise, these TV networks will use this as an excuse to breach our contract and to throw us off the air. He did that not for any sort of personal gain. He did that to try and keep his company from getting thrown in the gutter. Pretty fucking stupid, ain't it?
Oh, man. So the script for Jackass 4 is going fantastically. I gotta admit, I was a little twisted about by the wrestling angle, but I gotta admit, you are doing very good for me here. Like, I have some ideas about this. I don't know how many we can get killed while filming, but let me tell you, Jackass 4.58, the wrestling edition, is going to be a fact. Well, you really saw a movie.
It's not a movie. And guess what?
Reality has become dumber than fiction. Keep on rolling, my dude.
And guess what, Angel? Guess what?
What? I dare to ask.
Gets
dumber.
How?
Joseph, pull us up the information about Vince McMahon's new appointment.
Oh boy, hang on.
You're going to laugh, Angel.
All right, here we go.
Oh boy.
Trump, President of the United States, and also, by the way, fun fact, another WWE Hall of Famer, Donald Trump, has named Vince McMahon as to the advisory board as part of a task force to reopen the U.S. economy.
I shit you not.
See, on one hand, I'm not really surprised because I expect our illustrious president to make bad decisions. That is as normal as the sun rising in the dawn. But this, okay, hang on. What? Give me a minute. Let me see if I can properly articulate this.
Go ahead.
So I got the guy without legs to manage my Olympic racing team.
Yep.
That's all I'm hearing here. I got the blind man to guide me through this minefield. followed by another throng of blind men. I'm sure that if I throw enough bodies in front of it, something good will happen eventually. Maybe I can step over all the severed body parts.
Actually, yes. Like, yeah, let's go ahead and get the guy who restarted a failed football league not 20 years ago, who just filed for bankruptcy this week. Let's put him in a group of other businessmen to restart the U.S. economy after this coronavirus crap. Sure, that will be a fucking real winner here.
Another person who was named on the in the task force was also Dana White, the guy who owns UFC.
Yeah, Angel, I know you don't follow shit, but this guy...
Oh, wow.
This guy, Dana White, he was actually looking for countries who were willing to ignore their coronavirus restrictions just for him to get fighting licenses in those countries. He went so far as to go look for a private, unowned island somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere where he could fly his fighters and where he can have them fight there instead. This sounds an awful lot like the plot to the Mortal Kombat movie.
No, it actually sounds more like the Fire Festival, but yes, Mortal Kombat.
Oh god.
Which as a joke in one of the early memes out here, there was a meme saying, from the Emperor of Outworld, Shao Kahn, we regret to inform you that this generation's edition of Mortal Kombat must be postponed due to COVID-19. We respect all of our fighters, including not just fighters from Outworld, but also the fighters of Earthrealm. We take their health very seriously, and we invite you to once again join us in the next generation where mankind must fight to the death in order to save themselves from our horrible tyranny. Long live Shao Kahn. Thank you for your time. Apparently, the UFC and the WWE are worse supervillains than Shao Kahn. What the fuck?
I'm not saying Vince McMahon is a wrinkled old wizard that sucks the soul out of everybody he hangs out with. Actually, I don't know what I was saying. I lost the thought.
No, you said it correctly. If you need anyone to vouch for that, just call CM Punk. He'll say that for you.
Oh, hang on a minute, guys. You guys are going to get a laugh at this. The official statement from Donald Trump is part of the announcement.
Oh, boy.
And I quote, "In sports, we want to get our sports back. So important," Trump says. "These will be some separate calls. Some will be together, by the way, lists, and some will be separate. But we have to get our sports back. I'm tired of watching baseball games that are 14 years old, but I haven't actually had too much time to watch. I would say maybe I watch one batter and then I get back to work."
The level of man, I gotta tell you, I know these people are athletes.
I seriously think
the level of mental gymnastics that they're using just to justify their bullshit deserves an Olympic gold medal.
I have to tell you, I'm pretty sure this guy suffers from a mental disorder, because that was a whole word salad of vomit that even I can't rewrite to make it look straight. I've rewritten scripts for Jose, for you. I've rewritten stories for friends, and to save my life, I can't take that pile of word trash that this guy just said, and I don't think I can write that into a proper sentence.
That's some bullshit right there. That's a sentence. That is some bullshit right
Yeah,
there.
it's pretty wild, isn't it, Angel? But guess what, Angel? Guess what?
What?
Say it with me, guys.
It
gets
dumber.
dumber.
I don't want to say words anymore. I am hurting to hear this. Every single time you finish telling me this, I feel this has to be it. It can't get any fucking more dumber than this. And then you go, hang on, though. I'm still digging. Give me a second. We reached ground level. Here's a shovel. Start digging with me. What the fuck can you get worse than what you just told me right now?
We're digging into the ender zone, Angel. We're digging so far deep that we're reaching the ender.
Oh, God.
Hang on. I think I found lava. Am I getting close to the core of the
Dig
earth?
past the lava. Just keep digging.
God damn.
Joseph,
Yes.
when is his call scheduled? Vince McMahon's investors conference call.
Oh, yeah, the financial earnings report. Oh, boy, that's going to be
When
fun.
is that?
Let me pull up a date here. Yes, the financial earnings report is coming soon for WWE. Give me just a sec.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
So
We need somebody.
basically, Angel, and to those of you who've been listening in, all this chicanery, an $18 million bribe. Yeah, you could call it a political donation.
Okay,
The
guys.
layoff of almost 40 employees, including top-tier wrestlers, and an appointment to a presidential task force in something that you literally have an antithetical knack for. All of this
Sure.
is for what, Jose?
WWE Incorporated is expected to report earnings on April 23rd of 2020 after the market closes. The report will be for the fiscal quarter ending in March 2020. According to Zacks Investment Research, based on 3 analysts' forecasts, the consensus EPS forecast for the quarter is 0.28. I'm guessing that's in millions or billions.
No, that's $0.28.
$0.28.
Money is what it is.
You know what all this means, Angel? All this
What does
means,
it mean?
all of this means that Vince McMahon has done some financial wizarding bullshit by laying off almost 40 employees. Some of them are legendary wrestlers. Others are new up-and-coming wrestlers. Some are backstage people. Some are people that make the magic happen. Had his wife direct $18 million to the state of Florida's Republican Party, all for his investors conference call, where he has to report that for the first 3 months of the year, that yep, WWE is still shining and there's so much profit and there's so much money. Look at all the money that we're saving. Look at all the money that we have built up. Look at all this money that we're actually winning here, even though it's all bullshit. Complete and total bullshit.
Well, hang on a minute. I think I sent you a little piece of that details like how much the WWE are saving. But go on.
Angel, your fucking thoughts, man, because I know that you must be slap-jawed here.
Ooh, yeah. Go on.
Go ahead,
I
Angel.
wish I could say I'm surprised, but no, this is exactly the kind of thing I expect someone like him to do. Cut the legs off for your business, treat your employees like shit, throw away good and old talent, and essentially make a fool out of yourself, just so you can tell your investors that everything is going exactly the way it's supposed to.
There is no coronavirus in Boxing State.
There's no coronavirus in Boxing. Bread and circuses, man. Bread and circuses. Except in this case, it's bread and abacus, I guess. As long as the guys upstairs who probably don't know or care about wrestling look at the expense report and don't see any numbers in the red, they'll just keep on rolling along. Even if in the future this can completely fuck up the whole thing. Because there is no long-term solution. There is just fix it now, and if you can't fix it, cover that shit in enough tape that it looks like it's been fixed.
Exactly.
Listen, if I take all this alcohol and I put it in my gas tank, I don't care if my car explodes 20 miles down. I just care about the fact that it will carry me 19 miles. That's what's happening here.
Fucking idiot.
You are not wrong, Angel.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You are not wrong at all.
Now,
Jose was actually just oohing at something earlier.
What I am is late to get my food out of the oven. So unfortunately, this is the part where I got to separate myself from the procedures, gentlemen.
All right, Angel.
all right,
you know
no
what?
worries, man. Thanks
Go
for joining
ahead.
us.
You'll get to listen in on Monday here tomorrow morning, and you'll see how we're wrapping everything up. Thank you for joining us, dude.
Thank you kindly for enlightening me to this side of the wrestling world. I would like to send my sincere condolences to the genuine fans of wrestling who are watching their once glorious entertainment empire crumble into the sand. I am very sorry you guys had to deal with that shit. And who knows? Maybe one day when Vince McMahon runs out of souls to eat and he finally withers into the broken down leathery corpse that he's actually supposed to be, they might get some good management there. I doubt it, but at this point, hope is the only thing we got left. Take care and stay rocking.
Thanks, Angel. We'll check you later, okay, man?
Yep.
All right, and there goes Angel. Thank you
There
for
goes
joining us, dude.
Yep.
Jose, go ahead and show us what you have found.
In a post on Twitter, according to Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, he has revealed that WWE will be saving around $703,000 a month as a result of the huge, massive talent cut that happened on the 15th. He also said that WWE's plans of saving $4 million includes all other expenses, such as postponing the planned move over to a new Stamford headquarters away from Titan's Tower. He also noted on the radio that the company had been stockpiling the talent due to AEW, All Elite Wrestling, but now it is likely that AEW will hire very many people. This likely led to WWE being comfortable releasing a bunch of talent as they did. WWE was looking to make cuts to keep profits high for this year.
Yeah, that's exactly what we just said here.
Yep.
That's exactly what we just told Angel, that basically they just did this so that their profits looked good on their quarterly earning investor call.
Yep.
Motherfuckers.
So their profits would look good, and that they keep stockpiling talent to keep them away from AEW at the time. And now, with this going on, they have no qualms in letting those guys go. Like, it's fucking dumb, man. Also, more NXT releases have been updated. There was a couple of names there. Two of them I am familiar with. NXT female superstar Tainara Conti for Brazil. She had been on NXT national television for a little bit. But there was a point where she had walked away from the WWE due to a dispute of salary. And wrestling veteran himself and WWE NXT star Cassius Ohno. He was
fucking hell. Those of you who don't know, that's Chris Hero. He was an indie superstar. He came up with CM Punk. He came up with Colt Cabana. He was with Claudio Castagnoli, aka Cesaro, as a tag team. They were the kings of wrestling. If you don't know the independent scene, look it up. Cassius Ohno, he was not always like the most lean and cut buffest guy on the planet, but he worked like a motherfucker, and they cut him off too. They cut off Cassius Ohno. Are you fucking kidding me?
Before it was confirmed by Cassius Ohno in his own post, they had moved him over to the WWE alumni page on their website. It was not yet confirmed if they released him or not. But I'm looking at it right now on Instagram, and it shows like a photo of the wrestling ring, an empty wrestling ring, and it has what's his face, Cassius Ohno's boots right over here. Here we go. You're not going to see this, folks, because it's a podcast. But yeah, it's a picture of a wrestling ring.
Can we include it as part of the thumbnail?
Yeah,
sure.
Yep, it's a wrestling ring, empty ring with his boots, with his wrestling boots, and that pretty much sums it up. So.
Sorry, I'm pissed. Sorry to cut you off. Keep going.
No. I'm done. I'm very, very mad and disappointed. Mostly mad.
This is some fucking bullshit. Okay. I'll be the first to understand that in these trying times, we have to make decisions that we might not like. However, these were cuts that did not need to be made. Vince McMahon had literally said, as a fucking bragging point to try to coax the state of Florida into letting them operate, oh, hey, we're okay. We can cover our emergencies. We have $500 million in cash on hand. Wouldn't you know it? What would happen if we went and spent that money somewhere else? Basically, no, this is some fucking bullshit. All of this shit has been bullshit, and this was not fucking needed. This wasn't necessary. I don't know what the fuck this guy's smoking or what he's eating or what he's smelling in the morning. I don't fucking know. But clearly Vince McMahon is not engendering any faith in his ability to operate this fucking company. I know that we're not going to get the kind of people who fucking just... I'm just fucking at a loss for words here. Like, I know that the folks who are really invested in investing in the fucking company aren't going to be listening to this podcast, but if they have any sort of sense, they should listen to common sense here. And that common sense is simple. It's that Vince McMahon is doing shit that, even though it might be financially solvent or whatever, it's going to put a black mark on everyone who has their name in or their money tied to the WWE. Because when all this stuff finishes rolling over, when all this packs up, do you think that we're going to forget how they treated these people?
No.
Do you think that the fans are going to forget how they treated Zack Ryder, how they treated Eric Rowan, who was just starting to get over on his own, how they treated Kurt Angle, Dave Finlay, Hurricane Shane Helms, Billy Kidman, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, the sons of the Colon family, Gallows and Anderson, how they treated all these people? They think they were just going to let that just slide? Fuck no. I know how Angel likes to say that the way you express yourself in a capitalist economy is by voting with your dollars. Well, guess fucking what? You better believe that there's going to be a sizable chunk of WWE fans and product consumers who are going to cut off their subscription to the app, who are going to stop coming to these shows, who are going to stop renting the pay-per-views, buying the merch. Then they'll start supporting these wrestlers independently of you. And they'll do so with a smile on their fucking face and make sure that the WWE doesn't see a dime. Now, maybe it's too big to fail. Maybe it'll be able to hum along, and maybe they'll actually manage to bring all these people back, and the WWE will be able to save themselves from a PR fucking nightmare they just dug themselves into and digging their heels directly into a clearly corrupt governmental camp in the Trump administration with all this shit. But on the other hand, Vince McMahon has proven that he will do literally anything to gain a buck. I need to take a drink because they go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Go right ahead. I mean, obviously, I'm also, as I said earlier, I'm mad and disappointed because a lot of these stars did need to be let go. Now, in some of the cases, when it comes to this has been reported for some time, like cases for Mike Bennett and for other wrestlers who
and Maria Kanellis. They've been trying to get let go forever.
Yeah, they've been requesting their release from the WWE for some time, which especially even after they signed a multi-year deal.
And the reason why the WWE wouldn't actually let them go is because
they don't want them to go to AEW.
Yep. But now, with this recession, ain't nobody hiring. Nobody's doing any live shows. So you want to go ahead and leave? Go right ahead. Where the fuck are you gonna go? I'll tell you where. Nowhere. You go and fucking rot for all I care. That's basically the fucking message he's sending to these people by letting them go at a time like this.
Even more to the point, and this has nothing to do with the firings, but one of WWE's top guys, one of their poster boys, Roman Reigns, he was supposed to have faced Goldberg for the Universal title at this year's WrestleMania, but he pulled out before they recorded the matches, and because of the COVID-19 situation. See, something you need to understand, folks. Roman Reigns,
a.k.a. Joe Anoa'i.
A.k.a. Joe Anoa'i, he is diagnosed with leukemia. He's been battling leukemia all his life.
He recently had a relapse, and it just went into remission, a year and a half ago?
That's right.
So for the longest time, he took a break. He tended to his health. And because he has a continuous long-term progenitive disease like this, regrettably, he has to keep his immune system amenable to the medication he has to take, which means he has a compromised immune system, meaning he is more vulnerable than most others in terms of contracting this disease.
Yep, he had to pull out for his own well-being and for the well-being of his family. What pulled the trigger was when it was heard that The Miz actually performed sick and he was ill during the WrestleMania recordings, which forced WWE to rewrite everything. They had to rewrite the Universal title match. They had to rewrite the Miz's match, and then afterwards, basically how does
Vince McMahon repay his current golden goose? How does he thank Roman Reigns, Joe Anoa'i? How does he thank this man by saying, I understand that you need me and I understand that I made a commitment, but I am no good to you if I'm dead. I am no good to you if I am sick or if I contract something from someone else or if I transmit it to someone else. That would be irresponsible of me. It'd be irresponsible of you. It'd be irresponsible as a company. And in order to stave that irresponsibility, in order to help your company, Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, I am going to step away from this match. I'm going to stay home with my family. I'm going to focus on staying healthy. I'm going to focus on staying distant until the situation clears up and until I can safely say I can come back to work. I am going to stay away. I know that this is costing you money, and I know this cost me money, and I am sorry for this. But in the long run, I believe this may be the better choice between the two. It's a sucky choice, but I'd pay this price gladly. How is Roman Reigns thanked?
Vince McMahon sent out a memo to all the performers and all the staff members, including the broadcast teams, to not reference Roman Reigns on national television.
He gave him the CM Punk treatment. He gave him the treatment of someone who Vince McMahon has reported already that he doesn't really trust or like or wants to directly do business with. He gives Roman Reigns that treatment by basically treating him as the same way as he treats Chris Benoit. A man who actually, as much as it pains me to say, deserves to not be named on WWE programming. Despite all his contributions, Chris Benoit ended his life in a horrible way by ending the lives of himself and his family. Now, that's someone that does not deserve recognition. But Roman Reigns taking a moral stand in order to assist in this troubling time, you could call it selfish or you could call it selfless. But he made the right decision by staying away. And you know what? When people start packing the arenas again, they're not going to have enough seats to sell anymore because people are going to want to come back and watch professional wrestling live. And they're going to want to see Roman Reigns because they actually understand his morality and they actually understand how he sacrificed his time, his push, his money. He made that sacrifice not just for himself, but for the fans, for the company, for the industry. And he's going to be getting the Chris Benoit treatment. Are you fucking kidding me? Vince McMahon, you've got no shame in a single thread of DNA in your fucking body. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should know better than that. You should know better than to treat people this way. For what? For a quick buck? Do you not have enough money under your pillow? Are you that insecure? You still think daddy loves you or hates you or whatever the fuck your problem is? Is that your problem? I don't know what the hell would drive a man to act this way. Maybe I'm not seeing the big picture. Maybe I'm not seeing how this is going to be a good thing in the long run. Maybe I'm just a little more involved with the here and now because people don't live in the long run. People exist here and now. And what Vince McMahon has done and how he's basically aligned himself with jackals is showing the world what kind of man Vince McMahon is. And this mark will follow him to his grave.
Now, as far as the performers who have been released, they've already tweeted their reactions about it. Some of them are expressing their thanks to the WWE for being around for so long. I will say this: some of the wrestlers should not. I know. I'm gonna make this quick. Like, some of the wrestlers should not be on Twitter. Like, Seth Rollins tried to call for to get everybody to unify together during these hard times, and saying that all the negativity towards WWE is basically unwarranted. Seth Rollins, one of the top guys in WWE.
Okay, I'm sorry, but Seth Rollins knows he's got a bad tendency to shoot off at the mouth at the wrong time. This is one of them. I get it. He's got a guaranteed contract. He's probably sitting on his money. He's probably working. That's fine. Let him. Because if he's not seeing how this is affecting people, how this is being perceived by the public, if he's not paying attention to that, that's his own fault. That's his own problem. I'm not going to try to convince him to try and see things differently. If he wants to see things through his own lens, let him. I don't care anymore. And as far as I'm concerned, I am ashamed of what the WWE is doing. And it pains me as a wrestling fan to see how this is rolling out. I hope to God that we can get through this and something happens that we can actually, look back at this without so much, resentment. Yeah. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps us up. No, I mean, I'm going to continue, like, as far as a wrestling fan, I'm going to continue the weekly live streams of the Wednesday Night War, just to let you guys know. I'm doing it for the fans and for the performers because I am a wrestling fan, and the way I see it, if you love something, do something about it. Like, talk about it or whatever. Share it with everyone else.
All right, thank you for that, Jose. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up. We're done here. Thank you all very much for listening in to this edition of the Black Files. And please go ahead and give us comments and send us all your thoughts on this on our social media. Please go ahead and download this on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. Go ahead and download this. Give us a like, give us a reviews, and of course, continue to follow us on Facebook.com/TheRavensFlock, Twitter.com/RavensFlock13, Instagram.com/TheRavensFlock online, home of the live weekly broadcast of the Wednesday Night War, and of course, youtube.com/The Ravens Flock, our flagship channel, home of the Black Files, Los Amigos Play, and the Ravens Flock live. I want to thank you all very much for listening in. Please subscribe to our channels. Please like our pages. We're almost at 500 likes on Facebook. Go ahead and give us thumbs up. Give us your thoughts on this subject or any other subject that's in geek fandom or geekhood. Thank you all very much for listening in to the uncensored interview and review podcast of the Ravens Flock. This has been the Black Files, and